This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a try to deep right, away back, gone.
Go Hayes gets a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, don't break up a good thing while it's going great, and that's what we've been doing with this show. Cody Elias, Johnny Doskow, Ray Jensen. The ball club hasn't lost a game since we've been doing this show down here on the field. Team's now 2-0, looking to make it 3-0 after what was an absolutely incredible comeback win last night for the A's in front of a crowd that the fans or the players really fed off of, and it was an awesome night last night at the Coliseum for sure, with a late dramatic win for the A's. And what can you say? 7 in a row, no longer the worst record in baseball.
Yeah, and to me, Ray, I just like the fact that it's not like they're winning games 10-4 every night. I mean, they're winning close games, right? You have a couple 2-1 wins in there. You have a 4-3 win. You have a 5-2 win. I mean, these are tight games, and I think that's a sign of a pretty good ball club when you can win those close ones with pitching and defense and doing the little things to win this game.
Yeah, it's nice to win games. It's always good when it's not really a challenge, you win in blowouts, but it's always good, I think, further down the line to win these close ones, because when that situation comes up again, and it's going to, you're more prepared for it. You're ready to shine in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, after consecutive one-run victories, the A's are now 500 one-run games, so that's a good stat to have. And there was another one, I don't know if I copied. Yeah, more than half of the victories this year, 10 of 19, are last-at-bat wins. Only the Braves, Marlins, and Reds have more last-bat victories than the A's do.
Only 3 other teams. I saw that note, too. And, yeah, I mean, look, 11-11 in one-run games. The Rays are 12-12 in one-run games. I think that's just a really good sign. And, look, this team was 12-50, right? 12-50. And they won 7 in a row and a chance to get their 20th victory today. And look, if you win this game, and this is a really good pitching matchup. Glasnow's pitched really well since coming back from the oblique injury. He's really, really good. So it's going to be tough. But on the A's side, you're looking at the young right-hander Luis Medina. I know, Ray, you love his stuff, he's shown flashes of brilliance. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Medina can do, because he loves the spotlight. He likes the bright lights. He feels he will be a guy that can dominate in this league. Yeah,
I like Medina's stuff. And I know last time out we had Sam Mull to open the game in Milwaukee, and then Medina followed. So I'm happy that they have the faith in Medina to start with him and see what he's got, because when he's locked in, it's really incredible stuff that he has at that arm.
Yeah, I think what's been impressive, too, is just the fact that, you look throughout his minor league career, and he really had trouble throwing strikes. And that was the whole rap on him when he was coming through the Yankee system. Even with the A's, you look through the minor leagues, and he had, he was walking 5 per 9 innings. He got up there to 6 per 9 innings at times. And just the fact that he's had an outing where he hasn't walked anybody, and he's had some, he's had some issues with it, but it seems like a lot of that's been tightened up.
For sure, and I think it's just a growing trend of these young pitchers just improving with each outing. And I know we'll play some sound later, hopefully, from Hogan Harris last night, who we can't talk about last night's victory without talking about the starter and Hogan Harris completely shutting it down. And Fujinami, as the opener, did great as well.
Yeah, Hogan Harris, as we talked about yesterday, does not have a lot of innings in minors or Major League Baseball. It's not up to 181 2/3, but 7 innings of one-run ball last night against the best team in Major League Baseball. No walks after the disastrous first outing. He has been unbelievable. I broke it down. Where's it at here? Hogan is now 2-0 with a 4.84 ERA in the season, but since his debut, he's 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA, 14 strikeouts, and only 4 walks in 22 innings. He's been unbelievable, and what he did last night, shutting down the Rays, was just what the A's needed to pick up their 7th win in a row.
Yeah, and he's keeping it really simple, right? They say, what's the difference? Well, the difference is I'm throwing strikes, and he's confident with his pitches. And I just look, you're right. This lineup over there is no joke. It is a really, really good lineup, and to navigate through that lineup, what he did was really impressive. But he's not surprised. Again, he has that kind of laid back demeanor out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette, and he's not surprised with what he's doing. But it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, the confidence is growing throughout this club, and it's wonderful to see. And again, last night, that energy from the crowd behind them, I think, was a huge motivating factor. And let's see if they can ride the good times, continuing maybe 8 games, gentlemen.
Wow.
We've longest since 2021, as the Rays are looking to avoid losing 3 games in a row for the first time this year.
Yeah.
Last time Hogan Harris won 7 innings was
in college. I think it was
correct.
Junior year at ULL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That stat was found by our intern Marcus yesterday on the broadcast. He let Ken and on the broadcast.
Marcus has so much stuff. He's amazing, able to get in so much of these intricate details on stuff. So I got to hand it to him. He's great.
Yeah, him and Renee, our interns, have done a great job. And he found that. I heard it on the radio last night. I told him, I said, I didn't fact check it, so I'm going to believe you. I'm going to believe it's 7 innings because I'm the research leader on this crew. So I left it up to the disciples to figure it out, and they did a nice job figuring that out for us. But on today's show, we're going to have Martin Gallegos here in about, what time is it? For about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Talking about ghosts in Milwaukee. You were there. I can't wait to hear about all this and just the hot streak from the team and the road trip and how well the team's playing at home. We're going to have Kevin Smith after BP, or after he's done hitting for BP, sometime around like 4:30-ish. Chris Crone, the assistant hitting coach of the Athletics, around 4:45 after BP. And Vince Cotroneo, who TV star Vince Cotroneo now. I mean,
yep.
Can't say radio guy. He's TV guy. You're radio guy now. Then you're going to flip. You're going to be TV guy this weekend. Vince is going to be radio guy.
Yep.
It just goes back and forth, but I'm happy for both of you. So that's our lineup. We're going to have Martine in about 10 minutes, Kevin Smith, Chris Crone, and Vince Cotroneo. So big series. Still got 2 games left against the best team in baseball, but I love what we're seeing so far. And the confidence, as Ray mentioned, is really growing.
It is.
You can totally see it.
And we talk about it being contagious. I know it's a cliche in baseball, right, with the hitting, but I think good pitching can be contagious too, as far as the guys being competitive with each other in a good way. And I've seen that a lot with a lot of teams. The starting pitchers get really competitive with each other in a good way, and that they can just feed off each other's success.
It certainly is a domino effect. One thing leads to another. Good defense can lead to good pitching. Good pitching can lead to good hitting, and then it all results in a great win. So I think it's the kind of formula we've been seeing from this team, and these Rays are still the Rays, and they're still one of the best, if not the best team in baseball. So they can't rest on their laurels right now.
I don't know if anybody expected 7 straight, but I will say this. Even before that streak got going, Jace Peterson and I were talking. He said this team is going to get going. And there were several guys that were saying that. And of course, you got to stay positive when you're in a funk. The A's had that 11-game losing streak between May 17th and May 28th. But, look, they have continued to work. And I know that sounds cliche. Trust the process, right? But they really have, and it has paid off.
It has. I mean, we're seeing 7 in a row. We can now, again, I've mentioned this, this will be the 3rd day in a row, and I've mentioned this. We're moving faster and faster past that historic start nonsense stuff about how bad the Cleveland Spiders and all that, and we're now talking about, hey, we're now in the mid-40s on projections on pace. I think it's 45 now. The Royals now have the worst record in baseball, so we're past having the worst. I mean, there's a lot of positives coming from all of this. And like I said, we're on pace for 45 wins. The A's have outscored their opponents 41-20 during the 7-game winning streak.
Yeah.
So keep it going. The bats are going. We're seeing some guys come alive at the plate, which has been great to see. Last night it was Carlos Perez just putting the ball in play that got around me. Just put the ball in play, and good things happen. And that's what we saw last night.
And Ray, he's a guy, Carlos Perez, that he's going to make contact. He has a good idea up there in the zone. He's hit the ball well this year. It's hard to keep your average at 300 when you're not playing a lot. It's hard to get that good offensive rhythm when you're playing every 3 or 4 days. But what he's done coming off the bench to make contact like that and bring home the go-ahead run was huge.
Yeah, and he has a great story where he wasn't projected to be on this team until Manny Pena had the wrist issue.
Right.
And he was going to play in the Mexican League until the A's gave him a call, and he was more than ready for the challenge.
Right.
He's been fantastic. Yeah, him and Langoliers. I don't think we talk enough about what the A's catchers have done this year.
And speaking of A's catchers, I know this warms this guy's heart. That Langoliers has thrown out 19 would-be base stealers, the most in the major league.
By like what? The next closest has 14,
yes,
I think.
Yeah.
And Shea's been great behind the plate when it comes to throwing runners out. Hopefully we can see the bat get going more because we know what his upside is. He was a first-round draft pick out of Baylor by the Braves, so we know that the potential's there. And he's helping the pitching staff, and the pitching staff has gotten better. The team ERA has gone down. The starters ERA has gone down. The bullpen ERA has gone down. Now the walks are still there. I mean, Trevor may walk 2, but still, that we're seeing improvement every single game, and that's all you can ask for. The defense has gotten better. They're putting the ball in play more. So, I mean, the team, yeah, they might have 19 wins, but you can't tell these last 7 games. They look like a team that's, and we're trying to win the AL West right now. And
how is it with the Rays? I mean, the Rays come over here having outscored the A's 31-5. They're like, we remember this team, and now they're seeing this team. We don't remember this team. Like this to win the first 2 games of this series, you're guaranteed a split, but not be satisfied. They're trying to win this game and win the series against the Rays, the best team with the best record. And you look at what the Rays have done with their offense and their defense and their pitching, their bullpen. It's an impressive team. So I really like what the A's have done. And hey, listen, I know you're going to laugh at me when I say this. I know you're going to laugh, and I know I'm the eternal optimist. And Chris, if you're watching right now, Town, if you're watching, you're going to roll your eyes or whatever. But
people are saying have him stay in Hawaii because of how well the team's played while he's been gone.
The A's are
just throwing that out there.
The A's are 20 back in the wild card. Okay, go ahead.
If you were going to bring that up, I was going to.
Yeah.
The other thing was with how well Hogan Harris pitched last night, and I text the great Vito DeBartolo out of our marketing department in Townley. We were all texting last night. I said we all should start growing Hogan Harris mustaches. But you said, what did you say before the show?
I said,
don't change anything.
Why change anything right now? Do everything that we're doing right now. I'm not going to grow a mustache. You don't grow a mustache. Keep your beautiful beard. Just don't mess with anything.
Vito has a great mustache, though. He started growing it before we brought this up. So
great might be a stretch, but it's a good
one. It's
yeah.
coming along,
yeah,
as they say. It's developing.
Right.
It's developing like what's going on right now in front of us.
It's evolving, right?
Yeah. And the stat that I love about the 7-game winning streak is
mustache.
I think we'll move past that for now. The A's leapfrogged the Royals, which we talked about, but the A's had a 194 winning percentage prior to this win streak. I mentioned this yesterday. No team in Major League Baseball history has ever won 8 in a row that entered a span with a sub 200 winning percentage.
It sounds like a Sarah Lang.
It is at least 25, and one of them is
one
of them is the Louisville Colonels, and I forget the other team that it was, but it's just unbelievable. You have to go back to the 1800s to see what the team is now doing in a positive light.
Yes,
because before it was all about the 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
Yeah,
but we're kind of moving past that, which is great.
I love it, and try to get your 20th win today before the day game tomorrow. And I know that we always hear that. It seems like they are not looking ahead or behind. It seems like they are taking it day by day. And I know that's the biggest cliche in baseball. I take it one day at a time. But I'm telling you, it seems that they are.
Yeah, I really think so. They're not taking any game lightly. Yeah. They're seeing the challenge in front of them. And they have a big challenge tonight in Tyler Goliath now. I know he started the season hurt. He had an oblique issue, started spring training. But in his first 3 starts, opposing batters are hitting just sub 200 against him. I think like 167 to be exact. And he struck out at least 20 of the 64.
Struck out 20 of the 64. That's impressive.
Yeah, and hitters aren't hitting well against his fastball and slider. Both, I think it's 167 as well. They're not picking up the deception on his 4-seam and a slider. But speaking of deceptive and everything else, I mean, ghosts in Milwaukee. I mean, has that sparked the A's winning streak? We'll find out next as Martin Gallegos of MLB.com joins us right here on A's Cast Live.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
A's Cast Live continues from Ricky Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, Johnny D actually here with Martin Gallegos from MLB.com, and it's great to see you as always.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Yeah, I love to see you, and one of my favorite people. And wow, 7 straight. You know, we talked about the team was 12-50, and they have just been on this roll since the second game in Pittsburgh, and have not lost since that 5-4 loss at PNC Park. Your impressions of this incredible run they've been on?
Yeah, I think it's something that they've been building towards. As the season has gone along, obviously the losses were piling up. They were in there working hard every day, and they were putting in the work. You could see that they were working hard every day. So I think now the only difference, they're still putting in the same work. It's just the wins are starting to come, and they're starting to feel a little bit more confident. And who doesn't gain confidence when you're beating teams like the Rays, the Brewers, Pirates? These are all playoff contending teams, so definitely a good stretch for them.
It is, and watching what Hogan Harris did yesterday in front of that big crowd, and the 7 innings, and he hadn't gone 7 innings since college. But he said, he wanted after that first outing, he wanted another shot. He said, I know I'm better than what I showed, and he went down, worked on some things in AAA. What were your impressions of Hogan Harris since he's been back?
Yeah, I think just a complete different pitcher, more confident. I think it's kind of emblematic of this A's team. To start off, a rough start, come back, and showing resilience, showing they can pitch in this league. For Hogan Harris specifically, he's throwing a lot more strikes. You saw that first outing, the first big league debut. I mean, it went about as bad as it could go. He walked 6 guys, only got 1 out. Went back down to the minors. He told us, admittedly, that he wasn't really feeling that great that first time he came up. He went down there, worked on some things, came back up, and every outing since, I think he's given up, no runs, 2 runs, 3 runs. Last outing, 1 run. So consistently, he's going out there throwing strikes, mixing all of his pitches, and he just looks confident. I think he said it yesterday. I've learned that, it doesn't matter. Just throw the ball over the plate. The worst thing they could do is hit it, right? But it's better than throwing balls and walking guys. That's kind of his mentality, just attack his own strikes. And he threw a bunch of strikes yesterday. And to go out there and throw 7 innings against a really good hitting Rays team like that, that's pretty impressive.
It is. Well, we always say a manager gets better sleeps when he has a good bullpen. And it seems to me over the last couple of weeks, you're only as good as your bullpen, right? I mean, you can have all the starting pitching you want, but if you don't have a bullpen to hold the leads or put up zeros while the team tries to come back, it's really tough to win. Can you kind of talk about the bullpen a little bit?
Yeah, I think, over the past, definitely during this win streak, but even before that, the past couple of weeks, guys have started to pitch a little bit more high leverage situations. Obviously, early on in the season, with so much losing going on, there wasn't really a chance for them to really come in to high pressure situations. Now they've kind of experienced that, especially on this road trip. I mean, we saw so many guys, whether it was Lovelady, Sam Long, Lucas Urseg. These guys are all pitchers who, have been in the big leagues, have had a taste of it. Urseg obviously through his first year, but the other 2 guys have had a little bit of taste. But now they're kind of getting thrown to the fire a little bit into tough situations, and that's the only way they're gonna improve in the big leagues is facing those types of situations. They've come in. We saw Sam Long close a couple of games. Lucas Ursig pitched some big innings in Milwaukee. It's all kind of coming along. And Trevor May at the back end there, obviously he's kind of the leader there. He was out for a while with his, anxiety issues that he was dealing with. Luckily he's back now and around the guys. And I think, his presence in the clubhouse is just as important as him on the mound because he kind of is a guy who's been through it all. He's, pitched for a long time, different teams. So he's kind of been through it all. He's got all these experiences and he's got a lot of knowledge to dish out to these young guys who are trying to establish themselves at the major league level.
Hey, circling back to Urseg and the opportunity to pitch against the Brewers in the same place that he signed his first professional contract. It was above the bleacher area, and he looked back. I saw him outside. I saw him kind of reflecting, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "This is where I signed my first deal, right in that." He goes, "I know everybody in that clubhouse." He said, this is wild. And it was just for him to come back in the place where it all started for him. And he thought, of course, when he signed that deal, he thought he was going to pitch at, American Family Field, and he was really touched by it.
Yeah, I mean, it was all kind of full circle. It's crazy because he obviously came up with the Brewers, got traded to the A's. He grew up in San Jose, so he was a big A's fan. And when he came here to Oakland, that was a full circle moment. Now he goes to the Milwaukee, and obviously it also fell into the anniversary, his 3rd year anniversary of being sober.
Yes.
So it was kind of all a bunch of emotions for him at one moment. And it didn't affect him on the mound. I mean, he went out there and then turned in 2 great outings. I think both are multi-inning shutout performances and pretty close games against a really good Brewers team. So he's one of those guys, many guys on this team who are getting an opportunity and they're taking advantage of it. They're establishing themselves as big league pieces.
There are certainly a lot of great stories on this club. And I mentioned Carlos Perez earlier, the fact that is the guy you want up in that situation. The guy that he's going to make contact. Yeah. He's a veteran guy. He's not going to be fazed by the moment. And I don't know. I felt a lot of confidence in him when he was up in that situation, right around 3rd, 1 out.
Yeah, he just seems like the moment's not too big for him. He's very calm up there at the plate. Kind of looking for his pitch. He fell into a 2-strike count, and he's fouling balls off. He's not getting a little over aggressive and swinging at pitches outside of the zone. He's still kind of sticking to his approach, and I mean that was big. It was a grounder, but it was like 100 miles per hour. Hit off the glove and just perfectly executed there. And that's kind of the sign of things when things are going well for you, like the A's. Obviously, that winning streak that they're on, sometimes things fall your way. That ball, maybe if you're not on a winning streak, that ball doesn't bounce off the third baseman's glove. So a little bit of luck involved at times, but they're doing the right things to put themselves in positions to win these games.
Martin, we talk about these things balancing out because, yes, the team played poorly those first 52 games, or 62 games. They were 12-50, but we also talked about the fact that they also didn't get a ton of breaks either, right? I mean, and it's hard to complain about breaks when you're 12-50 because obviously the team was struggling, but those things do balance out.
For sure. I mean, I think, you look at that first month and a half, 2 months, it did seem like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. It was kind of that type of feeling like, here we go again, right? And then that can be contagious, at times. And now we're seeing the winning be contagious thing, but it did. There was a bit of bad luck into that stretch, no doubt about it. I mean, they've also gone out and kind of, restructured the roster a little bit. The guys who were here at the beginning of the year, some of those guys are still here, but we also have some new faces, and those guys have kind of taken advantage of their opportunities. And so it's kind of a perfect mix right now. And they've kind of found the right group of 26 players for their active roster that are kind of coming together and learning how to play with each other and winning.
Well, 2 vets, I know for sure didn't panic. I mean, the vets didn't panic, but 2 guys specifically in Diaz and Jace Peterson, you started seeing it with Diaz in the Astro series in Houston. Better swings, better at-bats. Jace Peterson, you started to see it before the 5-for-5 in Milwaukee. Can you kind of touch on those 2 gentlemen and the progress they've made?
Yeah, I think they were certainly frustrated and kind of disappointed with the start to their season because I think they felt kind of a little bit of extra pressure to come in and be those veteran guys who can be counted on every day to produce. And when they weren't doing that, they just feel like they were kind of letting the team down a little bit more. But you mentioned it. They have a track record. They have a track record of success in the major league level. The always old saying, right, is you look at the back of the baseball card and you kind of expect those numbers at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's taking place right now. They were hitting under 200 for a long time. You don't expect that to happen for a whole year. That's just not who they've been. They've been productive players in other places. And so now you're starting to see them produce a little bit more. And that, with Jace Peterson, that 5-for-5 night, it was building up towards that. But I think ever since then, I think that definitely gave him a lot more confidence. And, now he's been adjusting over to second base as well. He's kind of had to move over from third to second. And now he's handled it well. Defensively, he's been really good over there as well. So they're starting to, that's the important thing. The lineup seems to be pretty set on a daily basis now. It's no more trying to figure out where to put guys where. You have kind of a semblance of a lineup every day that you show up every day. Is going to be in the starting 9 every day.
Well, as far as Esteori Ruiz is concerned, you've been watching A's baseball a long time, but as far as exciting players, he's right. The play he made the other night on the run, the first game of the series, and even the Rays players and the coaches were like, wow, this guy. I mean, to be able to track down that baseball. Can you just elaborate on his talent and what's exciting about him?
Yeah, I think it really is fun when you go to a new team season for the first time and they kind of don't know what to expect. They see him on TV, but then they see him in person. It's like, whoa, this guy's just dynamic, right? He's so fast, but more than that, he's learning how to play center field at a high level. I think a lot of people don't realize before he came to the A's, he hadn't played a ton of center field. He was a second baseman for a long time, and he played a little bit of center field the past couple of years, but he's still kind of developing at the major league level as a center fielder. I think it's great that he has Kotze around to, kind of help him out there, a great center fielder in his time in the major leagues. And just all around, though, he brings such a spark, both, whether it's with the bat, you see the runners and scoring position numbers. He's one of the best runners and scoring position hitters in all of baseball. I mean, it's top 5. And you look at the other guys in front of him, those are all-star MVP type players who, are able to perform in the clutch like he is. So he's performed in that aspect. He's just brought, a presence at the top of the order where you feel good if he could just get on base, whether it be a hit by pitch. We saw him get on base with a catcher's interference the other day, which he's done a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
All he needs to do is get on base, and and more times than not, it feels like he's going to make something happen to put himself in scoring position.
And also the little things, like I think some of the charming things, like the huge swing and the helmet coming off, which it comes off. I love it. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And when he thinks he's safe at second base, bring it. I love that about him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he brings energy. I mean, he seems like a quiet guy when you just see him, in the clubhouse, but he brings energy. I saw, yesterday I was watching that game, and when Carlos Perez hit that ball that scored Ramon Laureano, he was one of the first guys out of the dugout just pumped. He was excited about that. So he definitely brings energy. I've talked to a couple guys about him. They say, he's kind of the guy who kind of gets guys, going in the dugout at times when, they're down. Maybe not as much energy going on, a little sluggish. He gets them going. So he's a leader in there.
I know you touched on this before, but Kotze and how he's handled everything. Like going through the losing, he's the same guy every day with the media. Granted, the media doesn't crush him and everything, but I'm saying, like, for Mark Kotze, I think he's handling this pretty well. He's the same guy on this 7-game winning streak as he was on the 11-game losing streak.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I give Kotz a lot of credit because, he went through last year. That was a tough year. And obviously the start that they had this year, I mean, we see it around the league. Managers at some point, could blow up on, media or blow up, on teams. I'm sure he's grinding every day. I know he's grinding every day. And I know he has probably his moments where he's frustrated, but he's never expressed that with us. He's always maintained that same level of professionalism. He stays calm with us, and he just does a great job with us. So, I mean, I've enjoyed, getting to cover him and know him on a daily basis over the past couple of years. And I know his players love playing for him, and then they play hard for him. So he's carried over that culture that's been here for years. That A's culture, just going out and grinding and playing hard. He's, continued to establish that even with a new group of players that maybe aren't used to that, haven't played in this organization for a long time. They quickly learn that you play for this team. You got to go out there and play hard every day. Grit and grind. That's what he always says, and that's they've adopted that for sure.
Love that.
I gotta pay off the tease. How many ghosts you see in Milwaukee?
I did not see any. I was not staying at.
You weren't staying at that hotel, right?
But I mean, I had that story on Brent Rooker. There was a couple other guys on the team that claim to have had some type of paranormal activities. I don't know if it was ghosts, but
it's funny. If I was up at 4 a.m., if I woke up at 4 a.m., it would cross my mind. I didn't have any experiences with it, but Rooker was great about it, because Rooker's like, it changed the channel and everything, but it was a friendly ghost. It was a nice ghost. So he's like, that's okay.
Didn't need to change rooms or nothing. No, Rooker's great. I mean, he's just, I've enjoyed covering him a lot this year. He's, aside from just the numbers that he's put up, how great he's been on the plate, he's just a great personality.
Yeah.
I did a thing with him maybe a month ago about his In-N-Out order, and he's just talking burgers. And I mean, there was a hit on Twitter, people loved it. So he just,
what's his order?
I think, so he goes double. He goes mustard in it, some chilies in the burger.
I didn't know you could do that in In-N-Out. I know you can go animal style, you can go protein style, but
I got the story pinned on my Twitter. He has the exact order there. Okay. It's something like that, and two double doubles.
I respect
one with chilies and one with not. So he just crushes that often. But I guess he wasn't a fan of In-N-Out previously, before he knew about like the whole secret menu thing.
Yeah.
But now he loves In-N-Out. It's definitely.
What's your order in In-N-Out?
I'm a classic guy. I like to go double, animal style, but nothing too crazy. The fries still regular.
Okay.
I think Rooker goes well done fries, I guess. I've never asked for that, but I think that's a good way to go.
All right. Well, we have anything else for Martine here?
No, I just want to know about the ghosts.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know. Plus, I don't know. Again, since we've all been in Pittsburgh and the team hasn't lost since that Monday night, so I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's been it's pretty cool to see what this team's done on the road. When you think about and just winning 2 out of 3 against Kansas City and winning 2 out of 3. I mean, here against Atlanta, I mean, Kansas City struggled and everything, but to win 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh and sweeping Milwaukee, I mean, as you said, these teams are no joke. A guaranteed split against the Rays. Got to get greedy, try to make it 8 in a row.
Yeah, for sure. And I think looking at this stretch that they're going on, I mean, we all expect at some point they're going to lose. It's going to happen, but I think what this is doing is kind of laying the foundation for the rest of the season. When 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, if they're going through a bad stretch, you can kind of look back at this stretch that they went on and they could kind of look back on it and draw on it and say, hey, we remember that stretch we went on when we beat, 3 consecutive, over 500 teams, the best team in baseball. We can do that. We're capable of doing that. So I think this does great things for them in terms of just confidence going forward the rest of the season, that they can draw back on this experience and know that they've done it before. They're capable of winning at the highest level against some of the best teams in baseball.
And, I always think, when I think of a guy like J.J. Bleday, I always think he's about to get going. You know what I mean? I see some swings, I see some at-bats, and I don't know. I just think he's got a stretch in him. He's got a run in him. He's gonna go on a tear here pretty soon. I just have that feeling about him.
Yeah, he came up really hot, and then obviously, pitchers might have adjusted to him a little bit more. But I think one constant with him is, first, he plays pretty good defense, in both corner spots, and he always works a pretty professional at bat.
Yes.
He's drawing walks still. The hits aren't coming as often as they were early on when he first came up, but he's drawing good walks. He's making pitchers throw pitches, so it's not like he's just going up there and is an automatic out. He's still making guys work. And I think that's why, the A's continue to kind of put him out there on a regular basis. At some point, maybe he can get the hits going. They expect that from him at some point. He's shown it, throughout his amateur career and his pro career in the minors. So they're still banking on that. But at the very least right now, he's still putting together enough, good things both at the plate and on defense that keep him in there on a pretty consistent basis.
With the Kevin Smith, Nick Allen switch, and they've swapped a few times going AAA to the big leagues. Allen's obviously his defense tremendous. Struggled with the bat at times. What do you see from Kevin Smith right now and his next shot here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great opportunity for him. We saw him hit that home run in Milwaukee, and I know that felt good for him, because he came up and, it wasn't hitting that great. And early on the season, he was hot at AAA, came up, and, the numbers weren't really translating for him. So I think he's still kind of in that same mix, kind of mold of a Nick Allen trying to establish himself at the highest level. He's going through his ups and downs, but this is a really good opportunity. He's playing almost every day. He's not in there today, but he's going to get regular at bats here as well. Defensively, he's always been really good with the glove, whether it's at third base. We saw a lot of him last year at third base, or at shortstop. He's pretty sound with the glove, so that's never really an issue. It's just about getting the at bats and kind of going through those struggles and seeing if you could come out of it, better for it.
Before we let you go, and thanks for taking the time, just talk about the Rays in general. This team, how good they are. Start they got off to, I mean, the 13-0, they're 31-7 at home. But your impressions of this club from afar and then what you've seen?
Yeah, they always find a way. It seems like every year, right? No matter who they got on the team, they'll lose, guys who are stars and go out to be stars elsewhere, but they find guys to fill the void. And we saw them earlier this year. I was, talking about this earlier. We were in Tampa, and they swept the A's every game was a blowout pretty much. It felt like, and they were firing all cylinders then. Yeah. And you kind of got a feeling like, wow, this team is going to be really good. And all of a sudden, since then, they've still been on that same roll. Yeah. They haven't lost 3 in a row all year, which the A's have a chance to do this year, today, which would be really great. They've only lost twice, 2 in a row, I think like 6 or 7 times this year. So, they're just consistent. Whether it's pitching, offense, defense, fundamentals, they do everything right. And they're kind of the model that every team in baseball wants to follow. Just identifying these young guys and bringing them up to the big leagues and being able to kind of put together winning seasons year after year. They find a way to do it, despite losing whatever players they have and being in a tough division like the AL East.
Yeah, no question. Hey, listen, I'll see you in a little bit. It's great to see you. Thanks for doing it. Thanks
for
coming
like
on.
The press box. Johnny.
That's right.
Love
That's
it.
Martin Gallegos from MLB.com, and we'll have more after this.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer, like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try the world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-FOR-ME or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Ace fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
But he drills one to right, way back, and no doubt. And that quickly, the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
If you're looking for the latest green and gold gear for the 2023 season, then look no further than athletics.com/shop for your officially licensed gear. That's athletics.com/shop.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Is convenience a state of mind or a real thing? At Extra Mile, it's a real thing, and it's in everything they do. The stores are spacious, organized, clean, and well lit, so you can get in quickly, get what you need, and keep going. It's just what you'd expect from a place serving up the hot and fresh food and snacks you love. So treat you right, and check out Extra Mile's fresh take on the convenience store experience. Extra Mile convenience stores at select Chevron and Texaco locations.
Calling all kids. It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and under to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After cheering on your green and gold, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree. That's athletics.com/kidsfree.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Kevin Smith will be joining us shortly. Cody Elias, Johnny D, Ray Jensen here, A's Cast Live. Chris Townsend back on A's Cast Live Friday. We're going to be at NBC Sports. We're going to have David Forrest, Mark Kotze, Eno Saris, maybe Bip Roberts. I'll see. A lot of jam-packed show. But Townie back Friday. Team's not losing with us. I mean, we might have to permanently replace Townie on this show, and the team keeps winning. Although Martine did just say the team's going to lose.
At some point.
Yeah, well,
he said
no, I took it as the team's going to lose. Didn't say when, but I'm just saying. He told me to put up in the bulletin.
So you think they're going to run the table?
If they did, that's one hell of a run.
That would be
one hell of a run.
Yep.
I got this stat shared with me from our crack staff, the one that I oversee. Moneyball 2.0, the 2002 A's on-base percentage during the 20-game winning streak, 367. The 2023 Oakland A's on-base percentage during their 7-game winning streak, 375.
Interesting.
I don't know if Jason Giambi's walking through those doors. I'm sorry, wrong team. Don't know if Miguel Tejada winning the MVP is walking through those doors, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're doing it against three first. Well, the Pirates were in first, and the Brewers were too. And now the first place and best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right. Hey, man, it's look, enjoy the run that they have going on right now. Right, stay in our present moment and just try to win with Medina tonight, and try to find a way to get to Glass now, and try to get to that bullpen, and just find a way to win your 8th straight. That's it, right? And that's all you can do.
That's really all you can do. It's a 162 game season. It's a season of peaks and valleys, and right now the A's are in a peak. We'll see if they have other peaks throughout this year, because we always cringe when we say it's early, but there's still plenty of time for more win streaks to accrue if this one happens to end.
Absolutely. I don't think it's early anymore. We're now how many games in? 69 games in, right? So I don't know. If it's
I hate it's early. Say it's early, but there's still time
We're in
left
July,
over.
We're in June. You know, the All-Star break's a month away. Trade deadline like a month and a half away.
Yes, that's right.
It's coming up quickly. Before we get to Kevin Smith, I got a couple major league storylines to go over with you guys. I know this is one you'll want to talk about. Luis Arraez in the pursuit of 400. Unfortunately, he dropped his batting average just a smidge, 382. He's 0 for 12 in his last 12 at bats, but hitting 382. The last player at 400 in a season was Ted Williams. Obviously. I don't think you were around just yet. Ken Korak was. Ken could talk all about how great Ted Williams was. That's a joke.
That's a joke. 1941. Okay. Yeah. It's okay. It took me a little bit.
The last player to come close was Tony Gwynn in the 94 strike shortened season.
Yeah.
And George Brett hit 390 in 1980.
Yep.
Chipper Jones hit 364 back in 2008. So Luis Arraez 382. Do you think he's going to come close to hitting 400 this year?
I don't know if he'll come close, but I think he could finish at 370. You know, I mean, he's just such a pure hitter, and this is a really rare skid for him. You know, to go 0 for 12. You just don't see it very often. So he's going to get on a tear where he gets his 6 straight multi-hit games. It's going to happen. So maybe get back up to 385, 387, 390. But I don't think he's going to hit 400. But he could end up with a 370, 375 average. Right?
And even then, he'd still be by far the favorite for the batting title.
Sure.
So we act like he's slumping to like below 250 or something, but he is still one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
He would be the second player ever to win the batting title in both leagues. Who did it first?
Willie McGee.
That'd be the great DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Did it with the Rockies and the Yankees in 2020.
Yep.
So Arraez right now, the Marlins are playing well, but he's not. I mean, he's hit his last. It's not like he's hitless in his last 48 at bats or something. He's still doing pretty well. But the one thing about him that's crazy, he's one of 2 active players with more walks and strikeouts in his career. The other guy is Juan Soto. Active players.
Arraez does not have more walks and strikeouts in his career. That's not true.
I'm pretty sure it was. I looked it up. Let's
look it up.
Let's get the crack stat. Let's get the leader of the crack staff on this.
Look it up. Oh, we got Crony here.
Okay.
Commander's on a mission. He's got to figure out.
No, I got to prove that I'm right about Luis Arraez. My research is never wrong.
You're talking about Lifetime, right?
Talking about Lifetime, yes.
Yeah. No, look it up.
Luis Arraez in his career. 156 walks, 145 strikeouts. I think you owe me the apology.
I owe you an apology. That's
how's that Cardinals prediction working out? They lost again today.
He just when he sees you,
he's got to twist it.
Yeah, I got to twist it a little bit.
I got to dig it in.
Yep, you do.
All right, let's get Chris Crone.
Let's get Chris Crone up here.
Do I have notes?
Chris Crone, assistant hitting coach with the Oakland A's with us. Crony, great to see you.
Always good to see you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. Now, this has been a fun run, but as you said, look, with Kotze, he's the same guy. You're the same guy. Everett's the same guy. You're the guys. We thought this was coming because guys were trusting the process, right?
Without a doubt. I mean, and that's the toughest thing to sell when the success doesn't show up on a daily basis. And you got to attribute it to the players. I mean, I'm not saying coaching is easy, but it's when you say the same things over and over, like the right things over and over again, you know that it's right, and you just want to keep saying those things. Like, we struggled a little bit last year with certain things, and Tommy and I are always on the same page. And let's just stick with the program, stick with what we know is right, and hopefully as the process goes, things will give us some success. And this is another one of those great examples of, just stick with the program, stick with the process. And as time goes on and some confidence gets instilled in these players, which, it takes one win. It takes one positive at bat, or maybe just one pitch that, hey, I felt that. Hey, let's go. Let's keep working this way. That's an easier sell.
Just to expand on that a little bit, you have guys that are in slumps right now. I mean, I talked about the fact that there was a 4 for 30 skid for Esteury Ruiz, and he got through it. And he's in a little bit of a skid right now. When you talk to guys about trying to bust out of it, how do you allow them to help themselves trust the process in that situation?
Ruiz is an easy example, and because his process has never changed from day one I saw him in spring training. He does the same drills through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad times, which we want to continue to sell. Like when you think Miguel Cabrera, you see Miguel Cabrera on TV, like joking around, is up there hitting. Well, he knows exactly what he's doing every single time. Right. That's what we want our players to do. Even when you're scuffling, don't change everything. It's not that. It's probably just one thing, which is probably just the strike zone. You're probably swinging at some poor pitches. Get back to the strike zone and see what happens. Seth Brown's a great example of that. He's a tinker. He always wants to tinker with stuff, which is great. But he also, when he controls the strike zone, he goes in this direction. He goes up, and he's doing that very, very well right now.
You talk about simplifying the process, but it's difficult as a hitter, right? Because you're hearing it from all angles, and you're in your own head, and you're up there, and you're trying to face 92 with movement, 94 with movement. So it's difficult for them to simplify things, but that's the key, to simplify it, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and almost, I'm not saying eliminate us as coaches, but when the player figures it out, I'm not saying coaching is done, because we're always going to continue to give advice to help the process, but they know that this is right. That's the first thing I'm 59 years old, and I'm the best hitter I've ever been in my life right now. Yeah. I can't go do it anymore. Yeah. I cannot apply my information, but my brain is locked in to how I would approach this at bat. Approaching the at bat, getting the right pitch to hit is what it's all about.
One thing I know you're not asked much is you and Tommy working together. I see you guys talking ball all the time together. It's like a marriage. You guys are with each other all the time. Can you talk about that relationship and that give and take and how that works?
It's off the charts. I mean, I know I'm almost his dad's age probably. And I'm not saying I'm his mentor, but I have the ability to give him my years of experience.
Yes.
And to keep him under control, because Tommy's got a lot of energy, and he's got a lot of things that he wants to get out. But I'd say, hey, let's just stay with this. And I'm not saying we teach each other a whole bunch of things. Yeah. But we are the best couple on this team, and we say that to each other all the time. We drive to and from work together all the time. We're sitting next to each other on the flights. We're obviously with each other in the clubhouse, in the cage all the time. And we're just feeding off each other and how we can get this a little bit better, how we can get that player to buy into this approach or whatever it is. And it couldn't be a better marriage.
That's amazing. And you guys basically talk about each player and how you can help with your process and his process, help the player's process, right?
Without a doubt. I mean, and it's just that simple. I mean, Tommy and I, even though we have an age gap, I've learned all this stuff over my time. Tommy's 20 years younger than me, and he's already got the information. That's what makes me impressed with Tommy, that it takes a long time to figure this stuff out, even as a coach, but he he's obviously got it. And it's not like he's not. All I have to do is kind of rein him in. Let's not go there. Let's not. Sometimes I'll say, no, that's not that big a deal.
Right.
Let's just stick with this right here. And he goes, yeah, you're right. I just want to do more, and we all want to do more.
Yeah.
We're all just like we have a player's mentality of wanting to do more. When in reality, it's less is more.
Is more. All right. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
My
Always
pleasure.
great
Anytime,
to catch
Johnny. I
up.
appreciate you.
Chris Crone, our guest. We'll have Kevin Smith. We come back right after this.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Link Soul, and you're going to love Link Soul. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Link Soul also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, well, Kevin Smith with us. Schmitty, great to see you. And, I want to talk about, first of all, what I think sometimes fans don't understand, it's a hard process. You're in the big leagues and you go down and you have to work on things. And look, it's difficult when you've been in the big leagues and you go back down to try to get back up to the big leagues. But you talk about your process a little bit and how you're kind of manage your emotional state when you do go down to come back up?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's two ways you can look at it. You can kind of go down and sulk about it and say, I should be here or there, or you can just go down and keep, doing your job and getting better and staying in your process. So I try to just treat everything the same, whether I'm in the big leagues, whether when I'm down there waiting to come back up, knowing the type of player that you want to be and knowing, the adjustments you have to make to get there. And just keeping that routine and that daily process of trying to get closer to that player that you want to be instead of worrying about, everything else.
You can. I feel like you're having good at bats. I think you're seeing the ball well right now. Am I right on that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, feeling more comfortable. And, it just takes a few pitches that you're looking for to get some, barrels and get it rolling. So, everyone's having good at bats right now. I feel like, as a team, I feel like we're coming through where earlier in the season, we had some chance to blow some games open. We couldn't do it. And now it's kind of the other way around where guys are taking their opportunities and taking chances and taking risks, and it's paying off for them.
Smitty, I ask certain people, I ask a lot of guys, like, has the clubhouse vibe changed? They're like, no, it's the same clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's the same exact vibe in the clubhouse as it was when you guys were struggling. There was an 11-game losing streak May 17th to May 28th. And they said it's the exact same clubhouse. We knew at some point this team was going to bust out. We knew there was talent in that room, and we believed in each other. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been saying it, from day one in spring training. Like, we have a lot of talented young players, and we have a lot of guys that have had success, already in the big leagues that can come here and teach us a lot. So, just combining that, obviously, getting off to a slow start. I think, we play one of the hardest schedules in baseball for the first 2 months or whatever it was. So, couple that with just getting to know each other, having a lot of young guys. And like I said, I think we were in a lot of games that we should have won or could have won. You can look back and say, ifs and whatever. But like I said, I think it just takes a few guys. Obviously Rooker's been huge with us. Ruiz has been huge with running scoring position. Just having a few of those guys come through and to win a game and realize that, everything's not going to always not go our way. We're going to get a few times where we have some stuff go our way. And that's the difference in ball games. So I think it just relaxes everybody when some of those start going through and guys start having their moments and shining, knowing that they can do it and the confidence goes up. And then all of a sudden you start winning some games, you start feeling better.
Now, I know I talk about the clubhouse, but the dugout, I think there are times when the team's losing where you have those immortal forwards, here we go again, when things go wrong.
Right.
That can happen the other way too, right?
Right.
We're going to find a way, guys. We're going to find a way to win this game, right?
Yeah. No, I think I said that in Pittsburgh when I came up and we won 11-2 on the first day. And, there's a lot of situations there where maybe early in the year, we ground to a double play or, we hit a laser at somebody and we get doubled off. Just having those little things that click all of a sudden in the dugout, when guys get in scoring position, it's not like, man, we better score this guy. It's like everyone's, running to the bat rack because they want to get the RBI and they want to be the guy, So just that little change in mentality, I feel like you can feel it too. When you play teams that are hot, it feels like everyone's rushing up there to the plate or to the mound to do something big for the team. And when it's going the other way, everyone's like, putting some extra pressure on themselves. Like, I got to come through here because we might not get this opportunity again. So, just that slight little, mindset change of seeing guys excited to go up to the plate and excited to get it done. Like Shea the other day when he went up with the bases loaded, that can change the game. And I feel like you can feel that in the ballpark.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that with this club and what I'm excited about is the fact that, and I said it earlier, it's not like you're winning all games 10-4. You're winning games 2-1, 2-1, 4-3, 5-2. These are close games. These are tight games. So the pitching is finding a way.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've been doing a great job. I mean, just recently, Ken coming in and shutting the door with 3 innings. I mean, just stuff
By the way,
like
how
that.
big was that? How big was Waldachuk? Because everybody in that clubhouse rooting for Waldachuk.
Yeah.
How big was that for him? And
that was huge. That
Yeah.
was huge. I mean, you see that he wants to do that. Obviously, going from start to the pen is not easy, especially in season. So to see him make that adjustment, come out, he's throwing 96 now, which is awesome. Blowing guys' doors off and throwing great sliders. And just for our bullpen in general, to have a guy like that come out and throw 3 really important innings against a great team, to extend the win streak, and also to save some pen guys so that, games like yesterday and today and the next day, you have those guys rested in the pen. That stuff's huge where, like I said, when you're going through it, you sometimes feel like everyone's on short rest. Everybody, just pitched yesterday and no one's ready to come in. No one's healthy. So just those little tweaks, him going 3 innings now gives our pen a little rest. And in good shape going in the next few games is huge.
Smitty, the classic moment, and I know it's caught on TV, that when you hit that bomb and then all of a sudden with the hammer, right, it came off, and Langlier's reaction was classic. I don't know if you saw it out, but
great.
That was a great moment in the dugout, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. The last time that I had it, I didn't really hit anything. I didn't swing it, so I was kind of getting some stuff from my teammates. So that it was just hilarious. The first time I do it, it breaks, and everyone was laughing. But just little stuff like that, like I said, man, it just all adds up, and getting guys laughing and having little moments like that in the dugout, they go a long way, and you can kind of see guys play a little freer and with a little more emotion and excited to win.
It's a good vibe, man. And of course, Jace. I mean, look, Jace, one of the leaders of this club, and he had that game in Milwaukee, and
unreal.
But he was starting. I was sitting on the air. He started the roll before that. You could see his swings before that. You could tell it was coming, right?
Yeah, when he's barreling balls and he's taking his walks, that's the big thing that they always talk to me about. Like when I'm taking my walks and I'm having good at bats and I'm barreling balls, I know it's coming sooner than later. So. And you can feel as a hitter, man, sometimes, it takes 2 or 3 weeks before your numbers start to reflect how you feel. If you're going through a path like that and you start lying out a couple times and a couple times you just miss your pitch, your numbers might not show that you're feeling better. But like you said, your at-bats, your swings, the pitches that you stop on, the pitches you take, they all start rolling in the right direction. And with Jace, the last few weeks, you can kind of tell that he was getting into that mode and obviously breaking out with that 5-hit game and rolling it into Milwaukee and then obviously back home. He's been a huge part of this.
Well, you're a huge part of it, and I'll tell you, one thing that's never wavered is your confidence. I noticed that with you defensively and offensively. You have a lot of confidence, and just keep it rolling. As again, cliche, trust the process, and I know it's going to get rolling. Thanks so much for the visit. Appreciate it. You bet. Yep. That's Kevin Smith, our guest. We'll have more after this.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Unbeatable mileage from Chevron with Techron unlocks all kinds of unbeatable trips. Like to family dinner the next town over, or to a family wedding the next town over, or even to a family reunion over the river and through the woods at Grandma's house. Any drive is worth it to see Grandma, especially when you can stop along the way for unbeatable cleaning power from Chevron with Techron. Your engine will be thanking you for making the trip. Download the Chevron app now and find unbeatable mileage near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together.
Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today.
What's the material?
Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
We're almost halfway through baseball season, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the newest product of the season, Topps Series 2 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
A's Cast Live continues from Ricky Henderson Field. Here's Chris Townsend.
It's Johnny Doskow with Vince Cotroneo. I can never be Townie. Vinny, it's been fun. It's been fun, this seven game winning streak. From your perspective, just give us your insight on it.
Well, they've won games in so many different ways, which I enjoy. I mean, they've come back in 3 games. The one game against Pittsburgh where they scored in multiple innings, they won 11-2, and held Pittsburgh to 0-13 with runners in scoring position. That was a great game. We were asked last night in the pregame show on television with Brody, he goes, what's your favorite part about the streak? And at that point, it was at 6. And I said, the next one, get it to 7. So that would apply tonight as well. And it's the challenge of who the A's have done this against, teams that have been in first place when they faced them with the Pirates and the Brewers, and especially with the best team in baseball with Tampa Bay, just really doing an excellent job of pitching against a team that does not chase. You really have to attack the zone effectively, through all different parts of the strike zone, and the A's have done that. And that's watching Hogan Harris give you 7 strong innings last night was just outstanding. It was fun to watch. So many contributions from so many different players. It really has been a team effort. We both know, Johnny, we're around the club every day, and watching this club try to come together with what they were dealing with, especially the first 6-7 weeks of the season, and still trying to bond and find their way. And now we're starting to see the fruits of that. And, there's a lot of baseball left. I know they dug an enormous hole, but you forget about that. Let's enjoy what they're doing now moving forward and make the most of that.
Exactly right. Enjoy the stretch, enjoy the run they're on. As Kotze said, they're not going to, at some point it's going to end, but just remember all these successes, especially against a really good club like Tampa Bay, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they are clearly the best team in baseball for all the right reasons. They pitch, they catch the ball, they have tremendous offense, they hit the ball out of the ballpark. They are very athletic. They run the bases more than one guy can impact the game with their legs. And they're just an entertaining team to watch and a really tough team to play. But as the A's go to Tampa Bay, and they went there at a time where they just didn't know what was going on. And as Mark said earlier this week, that was an embarrassing series. And you give up back-to-back games, you lose 11-0, and then you end up giving up 36 runs in that series. It was embarrassing, but it's also Tropicana Field has its own home field advantage. By the time you leave Tropicana Field, you feel comfortable. But those first 3.5 games, you're trying to figure out, the roof and the rafters and their kind of AstroTurf and just the whole mechanics of playing indoors there. And I think the Coliseum presents that same challenge for teams like Tampa Bay. There's so much more foul territory here. It's colder at night. You hit the ball, doesn't travel as far. That's a hitter's ballpark at the Trop. It's not a hitter's ballpark here, especially at night. So I think having that advantage also, but the A's are just at this time in their season where so many things are clicking, and watching it all come together has really been a joy.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a joy to watch is Medina. We'll talk about Medina because you and I saw the numbers coming in. We saw him go through the Yankee system, struggle with that command. He struggled with his command going through the A system a little bit as well. He has come to the big leagues, and he feels I saw it in his eyes, and you and I talked about the fact that when he went after that game against the Angels, when he was interviewed, he said he wasn't satisfied just to be there. He said, I can succeed at this level. I know I can. He's got a swagger. He's got a confidence to him. What do you see from him?
Yeah, I spoke with him about those kind of issues and the other things too, just trying to get to know the player. And I asked Luis when the A's were they had just left Miami, and he's from the Dominican Republic, and I said, did you have any family in Miami? He said, no, I'm focusing on this right now. This is what's important to me and my wife and my young daughter. is for me to have success up here. That's what I'm trying to do. There will be time to spend with the family, but right now I'm focusing on this. And what he did 2 starts ago when he gave up 6 runs in 2 innings, and he looked like the guy that you said, well, he sprays the ball. He doesn't have command. There are big issues. And then he comes in his next game, gives up 2 runs in that first inning following the opener, and then 4 no-hit innings after that.
Yeah.
Only a couple of walks, and was dominant. A lot of early contact, a lot of early outs, a lot of ground ball outs. So there was some growth there, and that's what we're looking for this year, right? When you have guys that, you didn't know anything about Ruiz or Noda, certainly with Hogan Harris and Medina and so many other players that are making their debuts on the major league level, it just takes time for them to get their foundation. And even through the entirety of 2023, we're not going to have all the answers, but you're going to have more answers.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like experience. We can talk about what the expectations are, and the player can look at all the video he wants and try to get a sense of what he has to do. But until he stands in the box, until he's on the mound in a big league game and doing this time and time again, having those repetitions and just kind of navigating through those different situations, whether it's on the mound, on the bases, in the batter's box, until you experience that and get a chance to learn from it yourself with your own eyes and your own feet, that's when things start to can accelerate. I think we're starting to see that with these players. Long way to go for them just in terms of experience, but having those opportunities and getting a chance to live through them is only making this club better.
You got to know Ledmus Diaz really well in spring training, and he got off to a slow start, and he found himself. He said, I trust myself. I know I've been in this game a long time. There was a month with the Astros, he was the best player in baseball. He had great, and he learned so much about himself, but he's tried to instill that to the younger players. Don't panic, trust the process. We talk about that, but what are your impressions of Diaz as a veteran leader?
Well, the guy said he was around before, and in Houston, he was a guy that, he batted cleanup a lot for them, and not because he's a cleanup hitter, but as he explained to me, Dusty did not want to upset the lineup. So typically if Bregman, who he usually followed, played third base for him, give him the off day, and Bregman was the 4 hitter, I'm going to bat 4th. So he's surrounded by Alvarez. He's surrounded by Altuve. He's surrounded by Tucker. And he was, a complimentary player, maybe a little more than a complimentary player, but he was not the everyday guy, and he fit in there. He comes here, and it's a much different circumstance and much different expectations that he has to kind of navigate, he's kind of figure out, and the A's have to figure out. Putting him out there every day probably was, I don't think, works best in the regard of playing him every day at one position, but he has versatility. He can play all the infield positions. He's even played the outfield for the Astros.
Yeah.
And seeing him, step in and step out, and when the A's were pretty close to their darkest times, I'm talking like in the second week of May when nothing was really going right.
Yeah.
And I purposely went to Ledmus like, okay, give me like a State of the Union. Give me your impressions of what's happening. And he was smiling. He said, I think this is getting better. We are bonding. These guys believe in this clubhouse. We are becoming a unit. I'm encouraged about what's going to happen, down the road. And, he's been somewhat of a prophet in that regard. Team, even when they didn't start this winning streak, they were playing more competitive games, and they won the series against Atlanta. And they weren't getting blown out like they were against Tampa Bay in April, or what happened with the Mets series and things of that nature. That's hopefully something that is behind them. Now, you will have games, whether you're the Oakland Athletics or the Tampa Bay Rays or the Yankees, or you will have games where you're just blown out.
Yeah.
But it was happening so often and so frequently, giving up so many walks, striking out a lot, just not playing the right baseball, making mistakes on the field. Those things are that tide is turned and is heading in the right direction. It's a lot of credit to Mark and the staff of staying on message as best they can with what their expectations are of these guys. As Mark has often said, you are here to win major league games. This is not AAA. This is not the developmental league.
Right.
I mean, they're doing some teaching and developing certainly at this level, but ultimately the expectation is you go out there that day to win that game.
Yes.
And he's driven that message time and time again. And seeing that, it's not like I told you so, but listening to the message and then watching the results of that message come to life, that only strengthens the message. It strengthens the team. It just strengthens that bond with everybody. They are really becoming a unit together.
I love it. Now, look, I'm gonna get a little personal here. I'm not gonna make you cry. But
that's always the worst thing you want to hear.
Yeah, but I know it was just a great moment for you in Milwaukee to get that time with your son, and he's covering the Brewers, and you guys are so close, and you raised him with the game, and now he's just an encyclopedia. The guy knows so much, and so just can you talk about just getting the opportunity to go on his show and have that time with him, his father, son, and just enjoying that moment?
Well, his mom was there too, and my wife Veronica,
Yeah.
and she came to the first game on Friday, and I said this quite a bit over the weekend. First and foremost, as the dad, as a parent, in whatever situation your kids are in, when you go in their environment and you hear the people around him or her say positive things about your child, we really like, in this case, we really like Dominic. We love his energy, love his smile. He works so hard. He's so good, really talented. He's been such a nice guy. Those are the things that are most important to Veronica and I. So that warmed our hearts to begin with. And Milwaukee is such a welcoming city. And it really, while he's not ultimately doing what he wants to do, and he will have that time when that time comes, but doing what he does, he is, whatever he's been given, he's made the most of that circumstance. And when I went on the show on Sunday, I did not know he was going to do this. How well does my dad know his son quiz? And that's what he pulled on me. And so, when did you first? Do you remember the last time you beat me in golf? Yeah, you were 12. He goes, no, Dad, it was 11. I go, I think it was 12. And then, what's my favorite movie? And I tried too hard. I remember him really loving this movie Holes years and years ago about the kids that and that kind of find their way. He goes, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard. It was Sandlot. I said, yeah, I should have known that. He dressed as Benny the Jet for Halloween one time, and so on and so forth. And then he asked, what's my favorite book? And I said The Great Gatsby. And he goes, same era, you're close. And it was Catcher in the Rye. And so I got that on the second try. Then he asked me who do I remember as his favorite player with the Astros, with the Rangers, and here with the Athletics, and our time with those teams. I got it wrong. So he said Houston. I said Gonzo. He goes, yeah, that makes sense. But I went. He goes, for me, it was Biggio. And then he knows Cavan. They were together on the Cape, 100 years ago. So okay. And then what about Texas? And I said, I thought I nailed this. I said Rusty Greer. Rusty was your favorite. Rusty gave you an autograph bat. You spent time with Rusty. And he goes, no, Gary Matthews Jr. Now, Gary Matthews Jr. was with him basically just as we were leaving the Rangers. I didn't have a whole lot of time with GMJ.
Yeah.
But he remembers the great catch, which was after my time. But he got close to Gary, and I told Gary those stories, and Gary gave me a bat, autographed him. And then we got to Oakland, and Oakland I nailed. That one I knew. Mark Yellis. That was an easy one.
Right, yeah.
Dominic wore 14 as a kid. Mark wore 14, second baseman. Mark is, wonderful human being and spent a lot of time with him. So it was just it's just fun. I mean, I'm humbled that he's chosen this profession. I told him a long time ago it's the worst profession to get into. It's a very subjective industry, but if you can get in it, it is beyond rewarding. We have a great time. We're lucky to do it what we do, Johnny. You know this. I mean, you grinded for years and years, and finally getting this deserved opportunity on a regular basis to be with a big league team. So when you reach that pinnacle and you get a chance to have those kinds of moments like you had a chance to experience last night, it means a lot. I mean, you feel like you're part of it. And Dominic is certainly a part of it in Milwaukee. He does a great job with his research with TBS, with Brian Anderson on their national games. He's earned the respect of Bob Costas from postseasons on TBS. And that says a lot to a parent that my son is put in these situations and he's not intimidated and he works hard and he's earned those accolades.
Yeah, and you want to hear as a parent, it's one thing to say, oh, your son's good at his job, but it's better to hear he's a good person, right? That makes you feel even better, right?
Right. All those years as he was working, doing high school games, doing ASU games, doing minor league games, and I would listen to his stuff, but I always told friends in the business, could you please listen to Dominic's stuff and give him an opinion that's not his dad's?
Yeah.
Because I'm biased, obviously.
Right.
I believe he's talented, but I'm also even more biased because I'm his dad.
Right.
And other people have said good things about his work, and I know he works hard at what he does, and that's so. I mean, it's rewarding. We had a ball doing the spring training games together. Those first few were really emotional for me. Just remember him go to the garage and taking chairs and taking the table and taking the extension cord, put it in the trunk to drive to a high school game to set up using a hotspot on our cell phone to get the game on the computer with these, this thing called Spreaker, which I knew nothing about, which allowed you to live stream, in real time, doing high school baseball games. So A lot of great memories, and it was a blast catching up with him. And Mom had a good time too. And I'll see him again.
Yeah.
At some point.
I also want to say he's just as proud of his two daughters.
Oh,
He talks
absolutely.
about his daughters all the time. So I know that they're near and dear to your heart as well.
Hey, I told Olivia yesterday. Olivia's expecting her first grandchild in October, which is a whole nother set of emotions. But her and her husband, she got a job opportunity. They left Arizona and they moved to Virginia, where her husband is from. But it was a job opportunity for Olivia. And I even told her yesterday, I said, it's okay. You don't mind that I am sad and proud of you at the same time. I'm sad that you left. Sad that I won't see my grandchild as often as I want to. But I'm proud of you because you saw an opportunity for a job that you wanted, that you were qualified for, and you got it. So, and with Sophia, she's more talented than she even knows. And I know you got a chance to meet Jonas Rivera last night from Pixar. And my daughter's an artist, and she does a lot of drawings, and she's really big into the anime stuff and whatnot. And Jonas and all the folks at Pixar were just as encouraging as they could be for her. And I just wish there was a way that she could see that and take that next step, because I think she would have a lot of fun doing that, and I think she will at some point. But yeah, you're proud of all you, because I joke that I have my favorite son, and I have my favorite oldest daughter, and my favorite youngest daughter.
Yeah, there
it's
you
a
go.
great way to have a family.
Love it. Thanks, man.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
All right,
See you
Johnny.
in a little bit.
See you upstairs.
All right, you bet. That's the great Vince Cotroneo. We'll have more after this.
Hey, those guys are good. This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
One final time. No Chris Townsend back on Friday. Cody Elias, Johnny D, Ray Jensen here for about 7 more minutes before we get to some audio from something that happened on this date back in 1987. We got some AL West injury news, so we need to go over real quick. As you mentioned earlier, Johnny, the ever the optimist, the A's are now 20 games behind out of the wild card, which, it's doable. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's doable. Well, the Houston Astros have now lost Lance McCullers Jr. for the rest of the season after undergoing surgery Tuesday on his injured right forearm. They announced he had surgery to repair a flexor tendon in his pitching arm and to remove a bone spur. So now McCullers, who didn't pitch at all this year, is going to be out. And apparently he had this injury going back all the way to 2021 in the American League Division Series. So he's out. And Yordan Alvarez is expected to be out for at least 4 weeks with an oblique injury. So the Astros, who already were missing Altuve to start the year, and he's back. Now they don't have Brantley, they don't have Urquidy, they don't have Alvarez, and they won't have McCullers all year. Verlander gone. I mean, Hunter Brown's been really good for them, but blow after blow for the defending champion Astros.
That Yordan Alvarez one, that is a big one right there. That guy is so good, and against left-handed pitching too. He's amazing. That I think is one of the biggest blows, right? I mean,
for sure. I mean, the way he was playing, I think he was on track to be considered for American League MVP.
Yeah.
There's still time for that to see when he comes back, but yeah, this is definitely going to hurt the Astros a bit in the power department. And McCullers, it stinks for him because I know he's been trying to work his way back to 100% for a while. It's just another long setback for a guy that's been really shut down for them when he's been 100%.
Yeah, when McCullers does pitch, he's good. He's good. He was good in the postseason for them back in 2017, and then every year since it. But the injuries have just been piling up for him, and it's none of us are Astro fans here, but it's kind of sad to see because the Astros are not going to be at full strength all year. And you mentioned Alvarez. He was hitting 272 with 17 home runs and 55 runs driven in 57 games. So, yeah, he could have been a guy for the MVP. Also could have been a guy we could have watched in the home run derby. Now we're not going to see either.
And what is his injury?
It was a oblique injury.
I'm telling you, those obliques are tough too because you could say 4 weeks and ends up being 6 weeks, 8 weeks like that. You know how you don't know those. I'm learning a little more about these oblique injuries now. They take a while, and you can't rush it. Right?
Well, Seth Brown had the oblique injury.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've dealt with it already this year on our own front with Seth Brown. So now Yordan Alvarez only 25. So hopefully he'll come back and maybe he gets back on that MVP track. But it's gonna be tough. Ohtani, who I said was gonna be out of gas by September, you said not, and he shut me up with the 2 home runs. But yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Astros. They're trying to reach the postseason again, and they're trailing the Rangers, who are kind of scuffling a little bit. They lost the first 2 against the Angels, but I'm sure the Astros will power through. They'll find some guy in their system, and they'll trade for some guy from some other team and make them good, just like what the Rays do and the A's have done with guys like Cole Irvin and other guys. So I feel like they'll find a way.
They do, and
Brantley will be back at some point.
Well, they do, and you also have Mauricio Dubon, who can fill in the outfield, infield, wherever, and he's had a nice year too. So
yeah, he's been really good since he came over from the Giants. I know he had the comments towards the Giants earlier this year and the ill will, and I mean, I kind of get it, but he kind of backtracked on it, which is probably the best thing to do. But he's been good for them, and Altuve's now back. I think Pena. I thought I saw something with Pena, but yeah, they're going through it. But they'll make some move at the deadline. They'll give some prospects up and get they'll bring a bat in. But I think getting Brantley and Alvarez back will really help their team. But more importantly, on this date, 1987, one of the greatest, maybe episodes of the greatest show, in my opinion, the greatest. This is subjective. The greatest show of all time.
Phenomenal show.
This happened on the show. Let's take a listen.
I hate Keith Hernandez. Hate him. I despise him. Why? I'll tell you why.
Well, let me tell it.
No, you can't tell it.
You always tell it.
All right, tell it.
You just tell it.
June 14th, 1987. Mets, Phillies were enjoying a beautiful afternoon in the right field stands when a crucial Hernandez error opens the door to a 5-run Phillies ninth, cost the Mets the game.
Our day was ruined. There was a lot of people, they're waiting by the players' parking lot. Now we're coming down the ramp. Newman was in front of me. Hernandez was coming toward us. As he passes us, Newman turns and says, "Nice game, pretty boy." Hernandez continued past us up the ramp.
Then, a second later, something happened that changed us in a very deep and profound way from that day forward.
What was it? He spit on us. And I screamed out, "I'm hit!"
Then I turned and the spit ricocheted off him and it hit me.
Wow. What a story.
So, yeah, that was from Seinfeld.
That's awesome.
That's from
love
season 3. The Boyfriend is the episode title, 17 and 18, episode 17 and 18 of Seinfeld.
So good. Timeless. Timeless.
And then you go through the whole thing and you find out it wasn't even Keith Hernandez who spit on Newman. It was
Roger McDowell.
Yeah. So Keith Hernandez exonerated.
That's right.
Becomes the hero again. One of the best things is how Jerry helping him move. And he was like, I don't know. Are we at that part of our relationship yet? Like he asked me to help him move. Here's something, what the A's could say tonight if they beat Tyler Glasnow? And it fits perfectly.
Nice game, pretty boy.
I think that should be that's what we should do. I should queue up Ace Productions and say, you know what, after Glasnow leaves the game, after giving up some runs, play nice game, pretty boy.
I don't think that's the best thing to do. I wouldn't say it's the best thing to do, but I'll tell you what, this is going to be fun. Glasnow and Medina, I've been looking forward to this all day. This is going to be fun tonight.
A lot of velocity going
Yes.
going through up there.
Yep.
The radar gun's being lit up a lot tonight.
Indeed.
But that's going to do it for Ace Cast Live. I had a great time working with you guys.
It was great these 3 days, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's been a great time. Thank you for helping. Chris Townsend will be back on Friday. We'll be back here at 4 o'clock on Ace Cast here on YouTube and Twitter. And you can obviously, for everyone listening who's not watching on acecast.athletics.com/acecast. We'll be back on Friday with Mark Kotze, David Forst, and most likely Eno Saris. But we want to thank Martin Gallegos, Chris Crone, A's assistant hitting coach, Kevin Smith, and Vince Catronio. Coming up in about 30 minutes, Jessica Kleinschmidt with A's Total Access, brought to you by
Chevron. The great Jessica Kleinschmidt.
Coming up, and then 6:40 first pitch. Johnny D solo today on the radio, and the Vince Catronio joins the third, fourth.
Yep.
What was he doing? The middle three.
The middle three. Yep.
Gotcha. So Johnny and Vince will come up. We got the game at 6:40. Jessica Kleinschmidt coming up in about 30 minutes for A's Total Access, brought to you by Chevron. Thank you for listening and watching A's Cast Live, and we'll talk to everybody at 4 o'clock on Friday right here on A's Cast Live.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has